Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jesse. Here, all I talk about is domain format. If you don't know what domain format is, there's gonna be a handy dandy video up here you can click, learn how to play, get caught up so that you can know what the heck I'm talking about. And just recently, I played a domain game. It was with my buddies at our LGS. I got to record it, and this game ended up changing how I'm going to be deck building pretty much permanently. I don't say that as a bad thing. I personally think it's a good thing, but I'm going to explain what I mean. But first, if you like the channel, you like what I do, you want to show some support, I got a Patreon. There's a few tiers to pick from, but all of them get access to my Discord. This video that we're going to be previewing today is going to actually be just for the Discord, and I'll explain why. But I do exclusive content, so you can check below on how to join. But the best way to support me is completely free. Just like the video, share the video. It's the best way to convince YouTube to show my videos to more people, and the more people know about domain, the better. Okay, so here is the game. We're gonna watch probably the first 5 minutes of it because I have some points I want to make. First, I'm gonna explain the player down in the bottom right. His name is AJ. He is, as far as advanced goes, easily the best player at the table. He tops regionals. He's an amazing friend, good player. I thoroughly enjoy playing with him. I'm sitting down here, bottom left. I'm gonna be honest, I'm just a casual player. I do like going to regionals and stuff, but I never do well. Up here we got my friend Zach, who has been out of the game for quite a while and really only plays Yu-Gi-Oh to play domain with me because he's such a good friend. I wouldn't say he's bad or anything, but he's definitely less experienced than either AJ or I. And then up here is my buddy James. He was our clutch fourth person out of the blue, so thank you, James. He's also a big memer. He just likes doing silly stuff in domain, so he's an excellent person to play with. James is playing a vanilla deck, which is a normal monster. Honestly, I didn't even end up getting to see a lot with what his deck did, so I don't even know if there's like an overarching theme for his deck. Zach is playing Predaplant to go into things like Dragoon and DPE. I am playing Dragon Maid, Dragon Rulers. I think the two archetypes have a lot of overarching interaction, and they both just got new support recently, so I was excited to play them. AJ is playing essentially the deck that he plays in Advanced, which is Memento Fiendsmith. Anybody who knows anything about Advanced knows that Fiendsmith is ridiculous. Memento is ridiculous. They both can fight through a lot of interaction and have a ton of recyclability built into them. So obviously going into this, with all that context, I think you can imagine how this game is gonna go. But I don't like to go into this and just assume we're going to get trounced because I know that there are balancing features within the game of, for instance, the three of us could team up on AJ if it gets out of hand, right? If I get out of hand, the other three can team up on me, okay? And for the most part, this balancing feature works really, really well. Unfortunately, I made the joke when we were rolling to see who goes first. I was like, oh man, that'd be funny if AJ got to go first because he's probably going to set up a ridiculous board. Well, guess what? AJ goes first and sets up a ridiculous board. Now, I very often hear players, I don't know if complaining is the right word, but they kind of give negative feedback about experiences of one person setting up a crazy, crazy board on turn one and then having them run the table for the rest of the game. For me personally, I've been playing domain format for years. This has not happened until now. So I want to make it clear first off that this is not something that's super common. And the whole reason I'm not making this a main video on my YouTube channel is because I don't want people to think it's common. And if you want to watch the whole video, it'll be in my Discord. I'll clip out all the extra, all the dead space and all the shuffling and stuff like that. So the game was 3 hours long. I could probably trim it down to less than, around 45 minutes, I imagine. If you're just dead curious, it'll be in my Discord. But the issue that I see comes up often is that people try and use these experiences as a way to advocate for bannings or rules changes. Me personally, first off, disclaimer, I have no control over the rules. I am not in the domain admin team. I can't control the rules. I have no control over anything. I do have some privileges being like the person who opts to make the most domain content for the format, but that just comes in the form of being given heads up or making plans to travel to YCSs with the domain admin team. When it comes to rules, I really could not force anybody to make any rules changes. Now, my personal opinion on the matter is that I don't think this is evidence of anything needing close to a rules change or a ban list or whatever, but I will show you guys the first turn of what he ends up setting up. Oh yeah.
Anything during my drawer standby? Yeah, I wish you would.
Shifter, someone shifter.
Alright, I'll go main. Normal summon my goblin. I use goblin's effect, destroy a memento and send two. Engraver effect. Track.
He hard opens Engraver. That's a great sign for us, to be honest. And just to give people some food for thought, none of us have any interaction. The rest of his opponents, no imperms, no veilers, no nothing. So he's gonna go completely unimpeded, and he's such a pretty crazy board. This takes about 5 minutes, by the way. Brings back Engraver. Like sequence. Having an imperm here would have been absolutely not backbreaking, but very, very influential, or some sort of effect veiler. None of us could be playing effect veiler though, so that doesn't matter. But there's a slew of other cards that could have been extremely helpful right here too, like DD Crow, Bestials, you know, stuff like that. Being able to banish the Fiendsmith, Engraver would have been huge here. This is one point I'm going to try and make throughout this, is that this wasn't uninteractable. I wasn't completely helpless. I could have had more options if I had changed my deck building, which is going to be the main point of this video, how this affected my deck building. I just want to reiterate the point that I'm not mad at AJ. I'm very happy AJ came to play with me, and I'm very happy to learn the lesson I learned this game. I think it's going to be beneficial for me in the long run, and I kind of want to have a positive outlook on this, but I'll let AJ keep going. Makes Desiree. Now, I think he would equip the Link 2 a lot sooner, but I think at this point he understood that we had no interaction. So he's going to go full blast here and not play safe.
Probably our entire stock destroys that special that doesn't include shipping.
Sorry, it's hard to see exactly what's going on. I'm showing you my Final Cut Pro right now, which uses a lower resolution video for playback, so that's easier for the program to have the slider go through it. By the way, I learned this from this game. Akihiron is the key piece in how he keeps recycling things. Akihiron allows him to grab things from Banish. So if I would have known that, I probably would have tried banishing this a lot sooner by making Philia Regis sooner, but I did not get the chance.
Around $1. I never bought any of them. Your bun is $1. Probably dragon, twin dragon effect. I thought us being distracted would help. Destroy self, add 2 more momentum monsters.
Oh, that's the big 5K guy that he's adding to his hand right now. So one thing I do appreciate is AJ's very familiar with this deck. It made this his very concentrated first turn go by very smoothly. So that's one thing I do appreciate.
Day, bring back the Desiree, and then I'll attach sequence, summon the one dragon. We'll make these into SP, and then I'll bring this guy back. Set 1, go to end phase. My field spell is going to let me set the full party for later.
So let's take a look at his end board here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Okay, so this is his end board. We know this is Bone Party, which he got back with his field spell, which again, the field spell is really good for this deck. There's so much recyclability in Memento. It is nuts. You just saw him summon the 5k guy from the graveyard by shuffling back 5. That's like a built-in Pot of Avarice. It's so good. The Memento Fusion, by the way, says you can target any number of Memento cards, creatures you control, and pop an equal number of cards another opponent controls. All of the Memento guys like float when they're destroyed, or they do something when they're destroyed. So this is like, instead of a bunch of 1-for-1 trades, this is actually plussing a lot. There's one turn in particular where he uses this guy to pop 3 back row that James set, and it was absolutely brutal. SP, everybody knows SP, and then Desiree with Link 5. The part that makes this even crazier is he's got Bone Party set, which pops 1 to special from deck. And again, when you pop things, a bunch of stuff in the graveyard activate and the Memento cards all activate. I don't know this at the time, but he's got the Trap set, which turns this guy into like an Appaloosa for 5. It's an Appaloosa for like effects that activate on field, that is anyway. So this is a very, this is a very strong one, turn 1 board. I gotta say, we don't do much about it. I have Dark Hole in my hand, but that is quite literally all I have as far as like interaction. Typically, I don't know, man. There's like a lot of things I was wishing that I was drawing or had in hand as I was playing this game. One of those things were, well, I guess I'll talk about those later, but I would show the rest of the game, but quite literally it is just this field, SP coming in and out, Desiree negating multiple cards, and being able to get back. So another reason why this is particularly really good is that Agnum Day can come back from the main deck Lacrima. The main deck Lacrima has quick effect. It can shuffle itself back into the deck to get back a Link Fiendsmith, and then this guy can activate to bring back Desiree and equip itself. So it's just very insulated. Like I said, it can fight through tons of interaction. So the main reason why I ended up not putting this video up is because quite literally every single turn he's just able to negate a bunch of stuff, bring back a bunch of fiends or Memento stuff, pop multiple cards with this fusion guy, use SP very well to at very good times to interrupt our plays, Appaloosa-ing for 5 times and then resetting it by putting it back into play. It was just, and the whole time he's just like searching and adding and summoning from graveyard. It was the singular time that somebody basically controlled the entire table for the entire game. There was one point where Zach, this player, he ends up getting out a DPE, which would be really nice. And then, oh yeah, I remember there was one turning point in the game where AJ decided to attack Zach, but James had a set mirror force. It was the one that either bounces everything to the deck or turns it all face down. Yeah, it was one of those mirror forces. I had a chance after his turn because that was his battle phase. He got mirror forced. So I had one chance with a little bit of breathing room. Not much, because he still ended up having a lot of interaction. I was this close to summoning Disaster, the new Dragon Ruler Xyz monster that can attach all the Dragon Rulers to itself, and then essentially banish all light, dark, earth, wind, fire, water monsters from target player's field and graveyard. This would have completely turned the game around, but I was short 1 level 7 body. Through AJ's interaction, I was not able to get enough level 7s in play to make Disaster, which was very sad. And I think that's a good thing to point out, because even with how little and low amounts of really good interaction we were all playing, we still almost got through. This is the only time, like I said, this is the only game where I've played where this ran the whole table for the whole game. Like I said, I don't have any ill will towards AJ. He was just playing. He got to go first. You only have a 25% chance of going first. He just happened to be the strongest player to go first. And I chose to not run very much interaction. This whole game, there was a slew of cards I wish that I had. I remember the one Titanocider I got to play was actually clutch this game because it came back multiple times and I was able to use it multiple times. I think quite literally the only interaction I drew this game was like Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Titanocider, and that's just not gonna cut it, especially with the Desiree in play to negate stuff. So I'm sitting here, I just spent a 3-hour game fighting tooth and nail to try and get through this stuff. It did not work. AJ won by a mile. I'm not the type of person to get mad at other people for how they like to play. Typically, I would suggest having like a pre-game discussion about what people are expecting or what level to play at. We did not have it this time because Zach's only got 1 deck. James only had 1 deck. He literally just threw it together to meet up with us. I have multiple. I could let people borrow stuff. AJ also only had this deck. He pretty much builds decks to hang out with me and play. So changing around decks probably wouldn't have been applicable here. Let's say if I, was in going into a game, I could tell I was clearly going to have the best deck. I would personally choose to maybe switch out decks. Not saying that AJ should have, because like I said, we didn't have a pregame discussion. So other than that, what else could I have done? Well, the one thing I could have done was change the cards that I was playing, because if I would have drawn like Forbidden Chalice, Forbidden Droplet, Evenly Matched, Dark Ruler No More, Kaijus, Sphere Mode, DD Crow, Bestials. There's a ton of things I could have played to impact the outcome of this game. At least to try and fight through stuff. You know, another thing I guess I could do is like play a lot more Floodgates, but personally I just don't like playing Floodgates. But you could, right? Like flipping up Rivalry of Warlords or whatever would have been pretty rough. But the game still probably would have took 3 hours, so you know. So to kind of give you an idea of how little interaction I was playing, these are all the cards I was playing that could have possibly interacted either on my turn, his turn, or like some sort of board breaker. So as far as board breakers go, I had the bare minimum. Dark Hole, Raigeki, Storm, Dark Hole. That clearly was not enough. There were so many cards I wished I was drawing. So what does the deck look like? What interaction did I add after? I added 12 more cards. I added DD Crow. I could add more Bestials because I only had 2. There's 2 more Bestials I could add. I added 2 Kaijus, Radion and Wing Sphere Mode, Raw Sphere Mode. I would have easily given up my normal summon to Sphere Mode AJ in that game. Forbidden Chalice, Forbidden Droplet. There was a few times during the games that I really could have benefited from having these. You know, for instance, normal summon Dragon Maid. Let's say he activates the Fiendsmith guy, target it, negate it. Droplet could have done the same thing. Dark Ruler No More would have stopped everything except for that trap that turns his Memento into Appaloosa. Change of Heart, Book of Eclipse, Evenly Matched would have actually been disgusting. As long as I could have made him use his Fiendsmith effect, I could have landed this in the post-battle phase. You know, Imperm, Called by, Giant Trinade, all these things would have been so nice to have. I quite literally more than doubled the amount of, interaction I could possibly have. And who knows, maybe this isn't even enough. Maybe there's more things I could find. But these are all the cards that I added after this point, and I think I'm going to weigh these options a lot heavier in the future. I'm probably going to try and make at least a third of my deck these type of things, Dark Hole Dragon does. I only counted Dark Hole Dragon because it gets me to Dark Hole, but funny enough, Miradora actually came in clutch one time, and because it's level 7, it can help make level 7 rank plays. Same thing with Phantasme. Those are specific interactions for this deck. Yeah, I don't know, man. If you find yourself in the situations where you feel powerless, you just wish you had something more to interact with your opponents, I would heavily recommend maybe upping the count of your removal, board breakers, interaction, stuff like Kaijus, stuff you can activate straight from your hand during your own turn. Chalice, Droplet, Imperm, Called by, that type of stuff. Or things that force them to activate whatever it is that is in the way. Use this, target Barone, they're going to activate their Barone, obviously. Use this to activate a Fiendsmith, he's going to activate his Fiendsmith, obviously. Book of Eclipse is kind of the same way. You can use it as ways to interact straight from your hand. Surprisingly, Evenly Matched can decimate people. This would have been absolutely bonkers in that game. I was wishing that I had it so bad. But yeah, that is essentially everything I wanted to say about what I learned from that game. And I do think it's an important lesson to take. Again, I'm not doing this to say, woe is anybody who likes to play strong decks. I don't think that's the case at all. I actually really enjoy games where all 4 people have incredibly good, super grindy decks. Branded is one of my favorite decks to play in Domain, and that deck can grind. And I'm not trying to make AJ feel bad for how this game ended up. Like I said, the game only ended up this way because he went first. I think it would have been far different if anybody else had gotten a chance to do something. Zach could have probably played both Dragoon and DPE. He's very much so able to do that in his deck. I would have been able to make the Dragon Maid negate Shu plus probably the Philia Regis. It just there's no other way to say it. It would have been completely different. The fact that it ended up that way was 1, due to chance, 25% chance that he went first. 2, my deck building choice. I chose not to run all those cards I just showed you. If I would have had any of those cards, it would have hopefully gone differently, or maybe it wouldn't have. Who knows? But I would prefer having a higher chance of having a chance to fight back or do something. So like I said, I'm going to value these cards much higher than normal, because in actuality, how many cards does your engine take up in your Domain deck? If you can get through half of your list with engine pieces, you're pretty lucky. And I just showed you 22 cards that fill out. That's pretty much the rest of the deck, Pot of Greed, Gross Charity, all that stuff too. So tell me what you guys think. Has this been a problem for you guys? Do you think maybe you'll try and play more of this type of stuff? Was there anything I missed that I should probably play in my Domain deck? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, this tale of caution, really. Thank you everybody who watched. I appreciate you guys, and until the next video, I'll see you then.